Picture a room with 100 people who all quietly check their horoscope before making a big decision. Walk through it and glance at the faces turning toward you. Almost all of those faces belong to women. That is the question hiding behind every "what's your sign" at every party. Why do women reach for the stars nearly twice as often as men? This chart shows the divide. In 2025, 35% of women reported a belief in astrology, compared to 18% of men. For women under 50, that number climbs to 43%. For young men, it sits at 20%. We can discard the sexist assumption that women are simply more emotional or less scientific. These groups share the same culture and the exact same technology buzzing in their pockets. The stars answer a distinct emotional feeling. This gap provides a clue about who actually holds the steering wheel in our society. Psychologists use the term locus of control to describe where you believe the steering wheel of your life really sits. An internal locus means you feel that your choices and efforts shape what happens to you. An external locus means you feel that outside forces, luck, fate, or circumstances beyond your reach, are running the show. People routinely shut out of power learn through experience that they don't fully hold the wheel. Astrology validates this lived experience. By framing timing and hardship as cosmic rather than personal, it hands a comforting, symbolic sense of control back to the individual. In 1982, psychologist Graham Tyson studied people consulting astrologers to see what was happening in their lives at that exact moment. Tyson found that people don't seek out the stars when they are carefree. They do it when under intense relational and social role stress, the pressure of being a partner, a mother, or a worker holding too many things. Because astrology doesn't fix the source of that stress, the pressure eventually builds back up. This creates a quiet, repeated habit of seeking comfort in the cosmos. Our culture disproportionately hands the load of managing relationships and emotional weight to women. The gender gap in astrology acts as a hidden ledger of that societal stress. We also have to look at how differently we raise people to handle their inner lives. Historically, girls are encouraged to reflect on their feelings, while boys are pushed to deflect and move on. Astrology functions as a specialized vocabulary for this kind of introspective work. It rewards the demographic that has spent decades practicing emotional self-reflection. Market forces recognize this appetite early on. For over a century, publishers have deliberately packaged and sold the Zodiac to a female audience. This targeted marketing is visible in vintage magazines like Glamour, placing horoscopes alongside PD columns and relationship quizzes, permanently labeling the space for her. This chart reveals a massive shift in the data. Among LGBTQ+ individuals, consultation rates for the stars climb to over 50%. These groups share a hunger for languages and communities where people who navigate a world not built for them can finally feel seen. The gender gap is a braided rope of power dynamics, stress, socialization, and marketing. Astrology operates as a system for human belonging. Instead of asking why women believe more, we should flip the question: why do men report believing so much less? Male skepticism may be rooted in the learned fear that enjoying anything coded as feminine is a threat to male identity. Stepping into that room carries a heavy social cost. Since survey data only captures what people are willing to admit out loud, we have to consider how men navigate those social costs. For many, loud skepticism functions as a performance, a way to maintain an identity that views the feminine as lesser. Most people who consult the stars know exactly what they're doing. They use it primarily for fun and emotional self-care, not as a way to outsource their major life choices. This gap tracks the divide between those handed control and those handed the burden of coping. These charts act as mirrors for our hidden stresses, proving that our lives, not the stars, choose who believes.